After 2 dogs go missing in a wildfire, rescuers uncover a bewildering sight. There's nothing worse than a pet. The thought of a beloved animal alone in an unfamiliar or even dangerous place is one that no owner can bear. Most would give anything, even risk their lives, to protect our furry friends. That's why a California woman lost her 2 dogs in the chaos of a disaster and left to search for her pet after the crisis passed. But when her rescue started, not even she was prepared for what she found. Of 2018, active wildfire in California history to the Golden State, decimating every path. Is no campfire destroyed 53,306 acres of land and caused between $7.5 billion in damages. The deadliest in the state's history, the West wildfire, during the rubble, 19,000 buildings and structures consumed by authorities reported a staggering 86 casualties. Communities ravaged by the blaze, however, none were more affected than the town of Paradise. All 27,000 residents were evacuated from their homes as the fire proceeded to destroy 95% of all the buildings in the community. During the mad dash to escape the flames, the citizens of Paradise had little time to gather their possessions. Yet, while the choice made by many to leave behind clothes, furniture, and even cars was surely a difficult one, there were others forced to sacrifice far more than just their valuables. For Andrea Gaylord, the decision to abandon the home that had been in her family for 10 generations was one of the hardest she'd ever made. But even as she watched the century-old home go up in flames, something else made her heart ache more. As the campfire made its way through Paradise, Andrea's guard dogs, Madison and Miguel, had taken off and vanished without a trace. Though she and her husband had searched tirelessly for their beloved pets, the encroaching blaze forced the couple to flee, leaving the fate of the dogs unknown. Andrea and her husband fled to a nearby shelter where, alongside hundreds of other evacuees, they waited for the fire to be extinguished. All the while, thoughts of Madison and Miguel never left her mind. Finally, after 17 days of non-stop firefighting, the raging campfire blaze was contained. Like her fellow Paradise residents, Andrea was eager to return home, hoping somehow her dogs had survived. But when she and her husband attempted to leave the shelter, they were told that Paradise was still too unsafe to return to. That's when she contacted Shayla Sullivan of Canine Paw Print Rescue, who had actively been rescuing lost pets from areas affected by the campfire. After learning of the situation, Shayla vowed to do whatever she could to reunite Andrea with Madison and Miguel. However, as soon as Shayla began her search, she received word of a dog matching Madison and Miguel's descriptions wandering through the small city of Citrus Heights near Sacramento. The city was 85 miles south of Paradise. Shayla drove down there, and when she arrived, she was stunned to find the dog described to her was in fact Miguel. Unbelievably, the dog had traveled from Andrea's home in Paradise and had been picked up by a local rescue organization. Andrea was overjoyed when she heard the news about Miguel, but Shayla wasn't satisfied with finding just one of the 2 pooches. And so, loading up her car once more, Shayla headed for Paradise. The roads were barely navigable as Shayla made her way through the once vibrant town, a graveyard of charred homes and vehicles peering out at her from beneath the ashes of burnt treetops. Forget dogs for a second. With so much destruction, was it possible anything could have survived out there? Upon reaching Andrea's burnt-down property, however, Shayla got her answer. As she surveyed the scorched earth, Shayla noticed movement in the pile of rubble that was once the 100-year-old home. She approached, her heart beating wildly, and it was Madison. Apparently, the faithful guard dog had returned after the fire had been extinguished and was now sitting watch of his former home. But even with the dog alive and well, there was still one challenge that Shayla would have to face. Being that Madison was no lover of strangers, the wary dog immediately took off when Shayla approached him, some guard dog. Shayla knew if she wasn't able to catch Madison, the dog would surely perish from a lack of food and water. She needed a plan. So, after leaving some fresh water and a bowl of food out for Madison, Shayla returned to Andrea to share the good news and relay her difficulty in catching him. The pair was stumped over the predicament but devised the perfect method for luring the protective pup back home. Using an article of Andrea's clothing, Shayla used the smell to calm Madison and draw her back to the property. And when the guard dog returned, he found his owners and brother there waiting for him. The tearful reunion was marked by excited licks and yelps from Madison, who was then fed a hefty bag of his favorite treat, Wheat Thins. Even in the face of catastrophe, Madison stayed loyal to his family and protected the home at all costs. In all the destruction, this loyalty wasn't lost on Andrea. "You're the best dog," she told Madison through joyful tears. "The best."